Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Today I wanted to start off the Monday strong by going through and giving you guys a full around update on the total market cap, not only with the altcoins, but excluding the altcoins as well. We're also going to look into some Bitcoin analysis, and then I'm going to be explaining to you guys how this market cycle looks, and we're going to be going through and I'm going to be explaining to you guys what a market cycle actually is and how we can go about trading them. It's really important that as we look at the market right now, we understand that we're still at a very low point. And what's going to come is the biggest majority of that bull run. People that are timing the market right and are investing right now are going to be setting themselves up to be making a large fortune. In order to do that, it's important to understand why now is a good time to buy, which is why today's video is going to go through and explain the Wall Street cheat sheet and the emotional psychology of a market cycle and how everything that's playing out right now is exactly like market cycles in times past. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, I have the fastest growing and the very best Discord community out there for cryptocurrency, and I would absolutely love it if you guys would join. It's free for anybody that wants to. All you guys got to do is click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. On my Discord server, I also offer my more exclusive content like the video course and signals. So if you're somebody that wants to follow along with all of my educational content inside of the video course, or you're somebody that would rather copy along with all of the trades that I take and follow my long-term portfolio, then make sure that you guys stay all the way to the end of this video, because I'm going to be taking a couple minutes to explain how you guys can sign up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. Alright guys, we got a lot of really exciting charts today. I'm super excited to bring with you this analysis because it's really going to help simplify a lot of your guys' questions and concerns that you've been having. So without further ado, let's jump right in the video today. Alrighty guys, so to start off this video, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin on the dollar. I wanted to go through and actually analyze a couple things because we did recently just have this sell-off, and so I wanted to make sure that we're all in the awareness phase of what is going on. And so, as you guys know, we've had the breakout that took us beyond this descending resistance, so we have had a complete trend reversal. So this entire symmetrical triangle, this has now been confirmed bullish, and we are breaking out higher as we speak. And so this is a really good sign overall. This is exactly what we wanted to see coming from Bitcoin. And now we can see that we're kind of at this little in-between point where, you know, we've had a little bit of a correction. We had the breakout. We sold off really quickly for that correction, and now we're kind of going back up. Now, for me personally, guys, the way that I've been labeling this, if we go to a little bit of a bigger time frame, the way I've been labeling this is I viewed this consolidation right here as similar to being right here. And I was kind of predicting that we were going to have one more big impulse, right? And so when looking at this, in my opinion, there's a couple different scenarios that we could be at. Scenario one is we just broke out and we're about like right here. This is kind of the scenario one, whereas right here is just the same as kind of like this move right here, right? Or this move here, after the breakout of this accumulation phase, this move right here could be the same as this one. And I think this is another scenario we have to watch out for, whereas what we're seeing right here could be the equivalent of right here, right? And so we could still get, you know, maybe we get one more impulse up to, you know, here. We fall back down, and then we get another bigger impulse that takes us upwards of that 20K mark. We could very easily see something like that, right? And that's what I wanted to update you guys with. The fact that Bitcoin, even though, you know, we're selling off right now, I still think that we could be at a couple different stages, but either way, both stages point that we're going to see a lot more directional upside. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be expecting. I still think that we're going to be hitting upwards of 14K. I don't think anything looks too bearish on the shorter time frames. If anything, it looks like further continuation. So I'm going to watch and see what happens with that. Now, if we come over here and we actually take a look at the crypto total market cap, we're going to look at the total market cap, and then we're going to look at the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, so that we can see just kind of what everything is doing, because, you know, each of these tell their own specific type of story. And so one of the things that I've been updating you guys with has been this descending resistance here. This has been something that I've personally watched out for a lot. This is really just the descending resistance that we've had on the total market cap. Every time we come to this close to this level, we reject, and we're actually back above this. And so as far as the descending resistance goes on the total market cap, we've actually broken above this. So this is a very bullish looking setup. You know, we're getting the reversals across all time frames, across all markets. We're really starting to see that shakeout being we're really starting to see that progression taking place after we're breaking out from these descending resistances, because this is what we need to see before we can confirm a big bull run. And so when we look at this, guys, there's a couple levels that I'm going to be watching for. We cleared above this level here, and we got our retest. So this recent sell-off that we saw, that was just us retesting this level. And now we're getting continuation from that. And so realistically, guys, we only have maybe one more big level here, and that was the cycle high, which is at about 388 billion. So once we can clear above that level, you know, it's going to be pretty easy for us to hit that all-time high mark. And in my opinion, guys, we're going to be seeing an impulse that's taking us to this all-time high, and most likely beyond that all-time high in the next move. This next move is going to take us to this all-time high mark. You know, whether we break a little bit above that or whether we just kind of consolidate here at the breakout point, you know, it doesn't really matter. We're going to watch and see what happens. But either way, guys, I expect us to be heading upwards of this all-time high mark very soon. I don't think that it's likely that we're going to be staying around these low levels, because this is the accumulation right here. This is this long rounded bottom formation. Now that we're breaking out, you know, this is going to happen very quick, and so it's important to understand that. Now, as we dive into the crypto market cap, this is the total altcoin market cap here. We're going to be taking a look at this one because, in my opinion, this one is almost a little bit easier to trade for the altcoins, because really we just have one major level. This major level, you know, has acted as support and it's acted as resistance. Technically, you could count it there. Resistance, resistance, and we're now acting as support here. And so we did get a break above this level, which is key here. Now, obviously, we still need to reclaim above this level here, but in my opinion, anywhere within this range, as long as we are above this range, then we are going to be destined for pretty close to that all-time high mark, in my opinion. This is really our last line of defense for the bears. You know, we're kind of consolidating within that range right now, but I'm expecting that we're going to break above and out of this because, you know, we had this declining volume, and then we can see this big sharp breakout in buy volume that's came in with this most recent breakout. In my opinion, that's only going to continue to grow from here, and that's what's actually going to take us into a breakout of this level. Now, once we break out of this level, it's very likely that we're coming up to this one next, which would be about $260 billion. The top of this resistance box is $142 billion. The bottom is about $115 billion. And so if we break out above this at 145, we're definitely going to be heading upwards of 260. And, you know, it's likely that we could even get above this level in this next move. But we're just going to watch and see what happens with there. Nonetheless, guys, more reason to be bullish right now because of everything that we're seeing inside of the market. You know, we only have one major resistance level to clear, and then once that's cleared, you know, then we have our first macro higher high. We're seeing this not only on the total altcoin market cap, but we're also seeing this on the total market cap in general. We're seeing everything starting to break out of these major resistance levels, and that's going to take us into a big explosion. The crypto total market cap will easily hit the all-time high and maybe beyond in this next move. The total market cap for the altcoins, you know, it will probably have a harder time venturing upwards at this all-time high. My guess is it'll hit closer towards this resistance at 260 billion. So that's what I'm going to be watching out for with that. Now, I want to talk to you guys and teach you about market cycles. We're going to go through the emotional psychology of a market cycle real quick because I wanted to teach you guys how this market cycle, not only on the total altcoin market cap, but just the total market cap in general, all these cryptocurrencies are following the emotional psychology of a market cycle, and we can actually chart this based off of a guideline that we've had for a long period of time, and I've been updating you guys with it. So let's get into it. Alrighty, guys. So here we are taking a look at the Wall Street cheat sheet and the market cycle of the total market cap. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about this, and this was actually brought to my attention by one of my subscribers. I already did recently talk about this, but I think it's a really important time to be discussing this because I haven't been doing it so much as I used to. Before my channel blew up, I used to talk about this exact analytic a lot because of the fact how oftentimes you see this repeated inside of cryptocurrencies. Now, the way that this works is I'm actually going to expand it so that we can see it a little bit better, so that we can actually just go through this real quickly because I wanted to explain to you guys how this works. So every market cycle, you know, you go through this phase where you have the build-up phase, the market starts going parabolic, and then you have this euphoric phase where everything's going crazy, and then you have the crash, right? The crash pretty much fully retraces, and then you start the cycle back over again. Eventually we break out and go into new all-time highs, and we kind of make these big waves, and they just exponentially increase. And this is the way that I trade and invest into these markets, is through these market cycles, because these market cycles are very profitable, and it doesn't require a ton of prior knowledge about investing. It doesn't require a ton of know-how around these markets to be able to make a lot of profit investing into this. And so this is a universal chart pattern and a formation that you're going to be able to find across the board on a lot of different time frames. For me, it's much more profitable if you actually look at this on a long-term basis, and that's really the way that you should trade market cycles. Because even though you can find some market cycles that happen on shorter time frames, maybe within the 4-hour to a daily time frame, nonetheless, you're going to really want to find the market cycles that are playing out on those bigger time frames. You know, a day, 3-day, a week, monthly, those type of stuff, because you're going to be able to be much more profitable. Now, the way that this kind of works is these are the emotions that a new guy getting into the markets will feel. So when you get into the market and you don't know what you're doing, that means that you're a noob. You don't really have any knowledge about this, and so you're really susceptible to making losses because of that. Now, the reason why a new guy getting into the market actually can't profit compared to somebody that's been doing this for so many years is because the person that's just beginning is an emotional investor. And the way that this works, guys, is anytime that you're putting your money down into a market, you're investing into a market, you're going to have a sense of emotion attachment to that money and to the outcome. And that's just the way this works when you're beginning to this, because, you know, whether we like to admit it or not, a lot of people will say that they don't have an attachment to money, but throw $100 into a market and then, you know, watch that market and try and say that you aren't attached. You know, a lot of people will try and say that they're not, but really they are. And you don't realize that until you actually put some money down on the line in a make or break it situation where, you know, you could potentially lose all of that money. And people don't realize that when getting into the market. And so when they get into the market, they don't analyze their own emotions. And so it's their emotions that actually cause them to make losses. And so these are the emotions that they actually go through. So at the beginning of the rally, this is really where we get our first higher high. Nobody still thinks it's going to go up. It's still kind of hush under the rug. And this is called disbelief. This is where people think that this rally will fail like all the others. It's just the first higher high. Nobody's really thinking much about it. And then what happens is we break out and going into the next high. This is what takes us to hope. A recovery is possible. They start to see the market trending up. They're starting to think, okay, well, maybe it is a little bit more trust inside of this market than I thought. And then what happens? We go to optimism. This is where it starts to go parabolic. This rally is real. You know, the new investor, they're always chasing prices as they're pumping. And this is the thing that you don't want to do. The maximum point of financial opportunity comes at the terminal end of the correction. And the peak point of financial maximum risk comes at the highest point. And so what the new guy getting into the market is going to be doing is they're going to be chasing prices as they go up. When in actuality, you want to be buying as they're going down. And so the average retail investor is actually on the opposite end of the market. And so this brings me to an important quote that I want to teach to you guys, because I used to always talk about this a lot. Haven't talked about it so much recently, but out of the 100% of people who invest and trade in a financial market, 90% of those will lose. And so the crazy part about that is just it shows, you know, out of all of these people that are investing, there's only about a 10 to 20% ratio that are actually profitable inside of the market. And so all the other people are just following this type of formation where they're chasing prices and then they're selling when it goes down and then they're losing their money each and every time. And we can see that here. Optimism, this rally's real. It goes more parabolic. Belief, time to get fully invested. This is where they start, you know, adding to their trades. They start taking huge positions. Thrill, I will buy more on margin. Got to tell everyone to buy. They start throwing margin longs. They're getting over leveraged to all get out. And then we got euphoria. This is the top of the cycle. I am a genius. We're all going to be rich. They're getting their friends, their family, their grandparents. Everybody's getting invested into these markets. And it's at their very worst time that they're doing so. And then the market crashes, right? Complacency. We just need to cool off for the next rally. This is the first lower high. Everybody's expecting another quick impulse into higher highs, and then this is the very complacent point where we start to drop. Anxiety. Why am I getting margin calls? This dip is taking longer than expected. Denial. My investments are with great companies. They will come back. This is the dangerous part where they start holding on to these losses. And then they start getting into denial about it. They're thinking, oh no, well, these markets are really good. They're strong. You know, this is revolutionary. These companies are truly some of the best in the entire market. And this is why they start justifying them holding on to these losses. They keep doing it longer. Panic. Shit, everyone is selling. I need to get out. And then capitulation. I am getting 100% out of the market. I can't afford to lose anymore. This is where they take the losses. anger, who shorted the market, why did they allow this to happen? And then you get to depression. My retirement money is lost. How can we pay for all this new stuff? I'm an idiot, right? And that's the cycle. It repeats this over and over again, which is why, while the new guy getting into the market's feeling really depressed as the market's tanked, this is when we as smart investors should be feeling greedy. This is where we want to feel the greed, is right here when the market's at the cheapest, which is what I've been trying to teach you guys how to do. And this is what we're seeing today. And so, this takes me to the point of this video. Let's actually compare the Wall Street cheat sheet to this market cycle today that we're seeing inside of the altcoins, because it's actually very similar here, guys. And we have an amazing opportunity. I keep saying that. That's kind of the talk that I keep pointing out to every single video is we have an amazing opportunity. This is a life-changing opportunity, revolutionizing wealth, all this type of things. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. And it's because I'm really doing this for my life, and I want you guys to be able to do the same thing. And so, by looking at this, I just want you guys to be able to start to see the same types of correlations that, maybe I see, because at the end of the day, we really do have a truly remarkable opportunity of just making a lot of money, and I want you guys to be able to capitalize in on this like I am. So let's go through here. The disbelief phase, this is our first higher high. So this is the disbelief. This rally will fail like all others. It even looks the same, guys. It looks exactly the same. So we get the disbelief phase here. Let's actually drop these down a little bit. So we get the disbelief phase here. And that's what takes us to our hope phase. Hope is really where the market starts uptrending before the parabolic move. We can see that we kind of get this little uptrend right here. And then we break out and go super parabolic. This is really where the markets go straight up, right? And we can see that we got pretty much that same type of consolidation before we start going into the parabolic rise. This is where we get, belief. This is where we get, thrill. This is where we get euphoria up here. And then finally, we start the crash back down. Now, obviously, we don't get the same type of complacency wick, but nonetheless, it doesn't really change anything. This market was just a little bit more of a bubble, and so it didn't quite have as much buy support propping it up at these higher levels, whereas this one, we got that first sell-off, got that complacent point before breaking lower. This one just completely started selling off. And so that's something that you're going to find happen between cycles. They're not always going to be 100% the same, but they oftentimes rhyme. And then we start to go through the negative emotions, anxiety, denial, panic. All of that's occurring, right through here as we're selling off. And then, this is what takes us to capitulation and anger. We get these two little lows that take place right here. Same thing took place right here, right? And then that's what takes us to our final sell-off into depression. Same thing happened here. And then what happens after depression is the most important part, guys. After depression comes our first impulse in the new macro higher high. And we can see that right here. This is what's known as disbelief, right? Now, what's interesting is disbelief here. And I'm actually going to go through and remove all this crap so it's easier to see. So disbelief starts right here. This is the first part of that cycle. This is the first higher high. Or right here, right? This is the disbelief phase. Now, the disbelief phase is also over here. We get a repeat of this exact cycle. And what resembles the disbelief is really where we make the first higher high in that trend. So, this is the first higher high before we go super parabolic, right? And then we get the same thing right here. So this is the new disbelief phase. And the reason for this is because as the markets crash and we get to our lowest point in the cycle, this is where we get the peak point of financial opportunity. This is when the markets are at the lowest, right? So this is the peak point of financial risk. This is the peak point of financial opportunity. We can see that here on the Wall Street cheat sheet. The very top of the cycle is peak risk. Lowest point of the cycle is peak opportunity. And then we repeat the cycle over again. So disbelief. This is where we get the first macro higher high. And that's what this entire move is, guys. It's not hard to tell what's going on. And the only reason it's hard is if we overcomplicate things. Guys, this is the emotional psychology of the market. You can see this on every single market cycle. It doesn't matter what it is. And we can trade this and find high probability inside of that playing out. And so it's just something that really important to understand here. Now, if we actually come back to this chart, I wanted to actually make you another chart real quick before we wrap up the video today. I wanted to share with you guys the Nasdaq and really how the Nasdaq worked, or not worked, but looked in the last cycle. Because this was shortly after the internet bubble, right, guys? So we're going to remove all these drawing tools here. We're going to remove all these drawing tools here. And we're just going to take a look at these cycles. We're going to go through in here and look at these because these are actually very similar charts in my opinion. Pretty much one and the same. We're getting the same type of accumulation here. So this was the internet bubble. Everything was super crazy, and then everything crashed shortly after. So we're going to go through and analyze the two cycles because they're really, really similar here. So we get the cycle peak. we start to sell off. This is where we make like these 3 lows. And this is very, very similar to what we saw here in the last cycle. The only real difference being that, you know, we kind of consolidated at this support level for a little while before going into that final low, whereas all of these are just quick little stabs, right? And so the time frames are going to be a little bit different, but this is still roughly the same sort of a consolidation pattern. So finally, you know, what happened in the Nasdaq is after we crashed, after we made these lows, we made our first impulse. This was our first higher high on the new trend. And this is the same thing that actually happened here inside of Bitcoin. Both these cycles did that, where we sold off, and then we kind of, you know, make this impulse, and then we fall back down to retest those lows one more time. We sell off here, and now this is really where we start the next part of that cycle, where what happened in the Nasdaq was, you know, this thing kind of just broke out and just kept going into new all-time highs, and that's where we're still going today. That's what I'm expecting to have happen inside of the total market cap for cryptocurrency. It's following the same type of cyclical analysis as the two, and they even look really similar. We get this big parabolic run up, right? Markets crash. You know, as they crash, they sell off a little bit. They pick back up. As they pick up, they sell back down really quickly for one more retest of the lows. Same thing happens here, guys. These are the same charts for the most part. And we're seeing the same type of thing playing out again, which is why I wanted to share with you guys this analysis today. I wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page together because, you know, I don't want you guys to miss out on this. I like to talk about these big picture cycles because with us being so early on in the cycle, we can still make a lot of money by just buying and holding long term. And so I wanted to make sure that we're all in the know with what I'm expecting moving forward. Realistically, the crypto total market cap just looks exactly the same as the Nasdaq. What happened with the Nasdaq was just new all-time highs, and that's what I'm expecting to have happen around this time again with the cryptos. So, you know, guys, just pay attention to everything that's going on. Make sure that you're focusing on that long term because, you know, we still have a good opportunity. It's still really cheap. We're still really early. And so, you know, even if you missed out on a couple of the big rallies that we've been seeing inside of Chainlink, Tezos, some of these other cryptos, just understand that this is the very beginning of all of this. We're going to see a lot more stuff coming from us. These markets are going to surprise everybody. They can and will surprise, so just be warned about all this stuff. Make sure that we're focusing in on it now because getting in now is really going to be the difference maker between making a 20x return, between making a 50 and 100x return. So thank you all so much for tuning in. You know, I wanted to quickly take a couple minutes to explain how you guys can sign up for the video course and signals for you people that want to get access to that. Now is the perfect time to get access to that. You know, we've been nailing a lot of our trades. Everything's just been going up consistently, and I just wanted to make sure that we're all able to profit together, and that's really where you're going to be able to copy all of my trades that I take is inside of my Discord. On top of that, I'll also offer my educational content being the video course where I teach you guys all of my strategies. So if you guys want access to that, you know, it's all going to be located inside of my Discord server in a private chat channel. You know, you guys can purchase them together or separate. It's really whatever you guys want to do. You know, the video course is $1,000 and the signals are $1,000, or you can purchase them together for $2,000. I'm actually going to be raising the prices of the signals because that's all lifetime access. But the thing with the signals is it requires a lot more work. So I'm going to be doubling the prices on that. So you guys are still getting it for a relative discount, 50% off right now until I actually do double the prices. So make sure you guys check that out. Now, with that being said, guys, I just wanted to say that if you're new and getting into these markets, it's hard to actually trust solid information. You know, if you want to learn how to invest and trade in these markets by yourself, you want to know all the technical skills, the video course is going to be the thing for you. Now, for other people that would rather just copy my trades that I take and just copy everything that I do and make the same profits that I'm making, then the signals are going to be for you. People that want to do both, you know, check them both out. But either way, you know, really do check them out. You're going to be able to make a lot of money getting into the signals early on in the cycle because we're still really young, guys. We're just barely breaking out. Over the next couple months, you guys are going to see the prices really start to skyrocket, and you guys are really going to wish you got to jump into those signals early on because, you know, right now, all the signals are still really cheap, but they're going to be pumping over the next couple months, and so you guys can make a lot of money. Over the next couple months, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys can already earn back whatever the initial entry fee is, whether it's $1,000, $2,000, whatever course or signals you guys sign up for. You guys will be able to make it back pretty quickly, how crazy volatile these markets are, how many trades we've been nailing recently. So make sure you guys check them out. All you got to do to join is click in the description of this video. There you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord. Just click on that. Once it redirects you, you can shoot me a message or you can shoot any of the 6 moderators a message, and we will all be here to help you guys get started on the right path today. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and with all that, and I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.